All right, welcome back to another episode of Star Trek Adventures with the ship, the USS Akatsuki. Did I say it right?
No,
Akatsuki.
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 Yeah.
I'm getting closer.
A. Cot, the uncomfortable thing you sleep on. Ski, people on pieces of wood going down hills.
Getting closer. I'll get it right one time. All right, so after completing the ship's shakedown cruise, the USS Akatsuki uh, is limping back to Utopia Planitia due to unexpected warp drive issues. Um, and as the ship will undergo the repairs, the crew will take the opportunity to spend some time on various locations in and around Mars. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the bridge with the ship showing up uh, to back to the shipyard. I'll let you guys start your role play there.
So Gus is just gonna say, Captain, we're coming into range of Utopia Planitia now. Finally!
We're not there yet, Gus. Signify Utopia Planitia request docking port access or some repairs to the warp drive systems.
Aye, Captain. They are directing us to docking ring 96.
Con, these maneuver us to docking port 6.
Hi, sir. I'll make sure to get us into the right port, not the other one. If you know what I'm saying.
All right, go ahead and give me a control con. This will be a nice diff 0, but a complication range of 2. And then ship's engines con. Right, looks like you gain 2 out of that. All right, after a few moments using your impulse and thruster engines, you come to a dock at the repair station.
And we're locked in, Captain.
Check all moorings and proceed with the shutdown of main power systems and make sure all power is then transferred from the station.
Yes, ma'am, the usual.
by the book lieutenant.
Of course, Captain. And we're home. Docking more sealed. Engines shut down. We're home. And such a short journey it was. And Rix just goes, "Mind your manners, Lieutenant." Aye, sir. Sorry, sir.
Signify all clear on the ship and notify repair teams to be in work immediately.
Rix responds, "We'll get right on that, Captain."
Kenrix, you have the con. Kier gets up and heads towards her ready room to check on the reports.
Rix walks over to the captain's chair. He looks at it and doesn't sit down for now. He remains standing as he takes on the watch.
You could have a seat in the chair, sir. It's not disrespectful.
Well, let's just say I haven't gotten warmed up to it yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like an easy role to fill, but maybe try it.
Maybe later. For now, I prefer to remain standing. Thank you, Lieutenant.
All right, I think we'll head down to the main engineering. And then everyone, of course, could feel free to take over their favorite supporting NPC. Kane, your engines are shut down, and you can begin investigating what went wrong if you wish, or any other roleplay you would wish to do.
All right, everyone. dig in and, well, figure out what went wrong. I think last session, I think I directed, was it Decca? To do diagnostics. Has she reported anything at this point?
All right. We'll probably have a roll. Either you can. This is how I'll set it up. Either you can. I can give you a presence engineering roll to order it, or presence engineering or presence command to order it, or you could activate Deca to roll it with engineering, with like a reason or insight engineering.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, let's give her an activation. Why not? Cool. Does anybody want to play Deca for this role?
I already have my token engineering supporting character.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Rex. So I think the captain traditionally plays Katala. So yeah, whoever wants to take Deca or May. And Centerral, would you like to roll for Deca?
Sure.
All right, cool. All you.
All right. So this is probably going to be a reason or insight with engineering. It's probably going to be a difficulty of 2. And just looking at the character sheet, you probably do have a focus. I think troubleshooting would work here.
Not system maintenance.
Either one. I think there's more troubleshooting, trying to determine the problem. And
I
then you
use
just gotta decide how
troubleshooting.
many dice.
How many dice?
Well, you determine that. But it is a difficulty 2, so.
I could roll 3.
Yeah, you either gotta give me a threat or a momentum.
I'll give you a threat.
This Deca's first activation?
I think so.
Yep, and just roll. Ouch.
In 2E, can we buy off a complication or no?
No. And it's actually, the difficulty was 2. There could be an assist, though, if you wanted to assist their Kane or somebody else.
Yeah, I would love to assist. Would you like reason engineering or presence engineering?
If you're ordering, let's go presence.
Okay. Yep. Do I have a focus? Yeah, I mean, unless you count lead by example for focus.
Probably not, because you're not really leading here.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Ouch.
that just happened.
Yep.
This warp core does not want to be fixed.
I know, man. Well, it'd be a good D&D session, I guess.
Sir, I can't figure out what the problem is, but I think it's probably the warp core or the engineering coils.
Thank you, Deca.
So what you meant to say was the matter-antimatter mix ratio or the warp coils.
Gotcha. Kane will thumb around a bit on his panel there. He'll make a mental note that either way, it looks like potentially these engine issues have affected the diagnostic system, which is why we can't get a clean read on it. He's just going to make sure that they've absolutely taken it offline and it's not going to go critical at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to power down
Assess
the
that. Okay.
warp drive.
All right. Kane will just say, all right, everyone. Well, we're limping back to base to get this sorted out. So everybody make sure it's, going to be completely offline and make sure we shouldn't have any issues. I am going to take a stroll. Going to go see the captain. And Kane at that point will head towards the exit. Head up to see the captain.
All right, is there anything anybody else would be doing during this time before I set up the ready room scene?
Nope.
No.
All right, Kane, you stroll up to the captain's ready room, and you're just outside the door.
He'll straighten himself up, kind of straighten his uniform up as well. Take a deep breath and hit the door chime.
Enter.
Kane will stride in. Captain, have you become acquainted with your new ready room? He'll kind of look around.
For the most part. And what's the status of the warp core?
Currently offline, sir. We took it off when it looked like the matter-antimatter mix may have been a bit off. So the ship should be, safe from any warp core breaches, but we've not been able to run full diagnostics on it yet to determine exactly what the issue is.
How long do you think the repairs will take?
At this point, until we can get the diagnostics properly dialed in, it's hard to say. I'm assuming we're heading back to dock if we're not already there. We'll be able to make use of their diagnostic equipment and get to that answer a lot more quickly, sir.
No, we've already tapped. And given the nature how fast we need to get the ship up and running, I have already requested teams from Utopia Planitia to assist in ensuring that the hardcore is fully functional.
Excellent, Captain. They certainly have the equipment that we need.
Is everything alright, Commander?
Never been better, Captain. He'll put on a weak smile.
Have a seat, Commander.
He'll slowly step over and sit down in the chair. Captain.
The engine troubles doesn't have anything to do with your recent escapade.
I don't believe so, Captain. I fail to see how what looks to be an matter-antimatter mix issue is connected to any leave that I may have taken on Earth. Be frank, ma'am, if anything, I'm more dialed in than I was before. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been better at my job than how I am now, which of course is a boon to you and the crew as we set out on this new adventure.
How long have we served together, Commander? Based on board the Artemis.
That is an excellent question. I want to say a couple of years. This is the player speaking. I think a couple of years. I think that would be accurate. So in character, Kane will say 2 years, I think, Captain. 2 fantastic years, might I add.
Yes, it's been, as she smiles, 2 fantastic years. And those 2 years she may a bit of the ego. It seems it was getting a little out of control. Normally, I would save this talk with you and the counselors, but the warp core instability I can't overlook.
I don't understand, Captain.
I have a report here that suggests that you pushed the Planitia installation crew for the warp core out of the warp core, and you prepared the warp engines for its final checks.
And may I ask where that report was reported from?
The chief of Utopia Planitia.
And was this the same person that stormed out of my engineering room without finishing his job?
Yes, the same person. That's not what he says on his account.
Well, I don't know what to say, Captain. Of course, I challenged him, but he's a Tellurite. I was just trying to make friends with him. I thought that's what you do with Tellurites. Razz them a little bit. They razz you back. He finishes his job. We get on our way. But as you can clearly see in that report, he admitted to not finishing his job. Stormed out.
In either case, I expect you to work with him to get this ship operational. Is that clear, Commander?
Captain, with all due respect, why would I work with somebody who clearly did not do their job correctly?
Commander.
Captain, look, I was under the assumption that he... Yeah, Captain, I was under the assumption that he did his job correctly. I am more than confident in myself and my team that with the tools at dock, we can easily correct this issue. Much better than the chief engineer at Utopia Planitia.
All I'm asking, Commander, is for you to use all your available resources to get the ship wholly operational, and that includes the chief at Utopia Planitia.
Yes, ma'am. We'll make sure to let them make a second attempt. I know that you have relationships to keep up with. I'm sure the leadership at Utopia Planitia, I would be more than happy to let the second-rate crew back on my ship to have that second chance to do their jobs correctly. He'll smile.
I want the ship 100% operational. Commander.
Of course, Captain.
You're dismissed.
I will oversee them myself. You'll have it. Thank you, sir. And yeah, Kane will bounce up out of the chair, and then yeah, he'll walk out of the door, out of the ready room.
And you guys will see Commander Kane step out onto the bridge.
So I believe is the lift on the far side? I think it's. If I can click. Oh, it's right there.
Either of these are turbo
Yeah,
lifts.
I think it's either of the back doors.
Gotcha. Okay. So Kane will take the far back door, but he'll walk by Rick's while doing so.
What does Kane look like as he walks by? What does he? How is he behaving, rather? What's his mood, so to speak?
He outwardly kind of bouncy, confident even, betraying a bit of like stiffness and cracking, I guess. Kane will just
You're
say,
right, Commander.
never been better. Commander? Is Rick's currently sitting in the chair?
No, he's still standing.
He'll walk up to Rex. So you can take a seat in that chair.
And you hear Gus behind him. Oh, he's well aware! He just doesn't dare sit in it. Rick's just, Lieutenant, keep your eyes on your station, please. Gus, sorry, sir. Rick says, yes, I prefer standing for now, thank you.
He'll lean in close to Rix, so Rix is the only person who hears him. Well, after the interaction I just had, you may fill out that chair a bit better than the current occupant. I'd encourage you to take a seat. And he'll turn and walk towards Turbolift and then get on. Head back down to engineering to oversee the repair of his warp coils.
Rick's paces a little bit, or not paces, he walks over to the railing here with a bit of a confused look in his face, and then looks to Ensign Turtle. Well, that was strange.
I agree. It was strange. Maybe he got a little talking to from the captain.
Yes, but walking down to the captain in the bridge like that's not proper. I've not really known Commander Kane to do that before.
Well, the past week, we have seen him act so differently. Maybe he just needs a little ego knocking to bring his ego down a bit.
Good luck with that. His ego is as high as it comes. And most of the time that's not a problem, but... Well... So you got any friends down in engineering? Maybe you can listen in and see what they say.
Eavesdropping? Gossip? Really?
Checking in, Ensign. Checking in.
Yes, sir. I will see what my friends have to say.
Thank you, Ensign.
Commander Rix, the station is hailing us. It appears that our new XO is ready to beam aboard.
Very well. Where's the chirp there? Rix to Captain Kier. Our XO has arrived, or is arriving.
Thank you, Commander. Kier exits the ready room with heads down to the docking port. As you were?
Let's go transporter room because I don't have the docking port.
People
Who's
probably
going
still
to
be
meet?
beaming on and off the ship. If you're at Utopia Planitia, it's docking slips in space.
Yeah, that's true. Is anyone else going to be with the captain?
Now Rix will still be on the bridge.
I can't spawn the token yet. No, we'll make it work. The commander is standing by, ma'am.
Proceed.
Placeholder token for now.
Commander Mahak reporting to the USS Akatsuki. And I raise one hand in the traditional Vulcan salute. Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Permission granted, Commander. Welcome aboard.
And a middle-aged Vulcan steps down off of the transporter pad. He's got the traditional Vulcan hair, dark, bowl cut, and a little bit of a chin beard. It seems well kept, but small. And I've got the Starfleet duffel case under one arm, and I extend out a pad to you. My transfer orders, Captain.
She takes the pad, looks at it briefly.
It contains transfer orders assigning one Commander Mahak to your command aboard the USS Akatsuki. Signed off by Starfleet Chief of Operations. Not quite a goatee, just the chin.
Well, Commander, I will update you on the situation of the ship, so if you'll walk with me, I will show you to your quarters.
Of course, Captain. If I may, I was reading over some of your file while waiting for your return to spacedock. You are a full betazoid.
Yes.
And you are fully capable of telepathy.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I have not had the privilege of serving with a telepathic captain before. It should be an interesting experience.
To be clear, I only read surface thoughts. I don't pry into the minds of others. It is a breach of and many
I
violations
understand,
on.
Captain.
This way, I believe your quarters are on deck 5.
Can I
The
hold
Akatsuki
out
is
an arm
a
gesturing
small
for the door,
ship.
allowing you to lead?
Shibi is still walking you to your quarters. She's a small ship, not as big as a Galaxy class, but she's more than capable.
Indeed. I have been reading specifications on the Intrepid class. They do seem quite remarkable in their design. Variable geometry warp nacelles are a revolutionary feature Starfleet has implemented to deal with the subspace damage phenomenon.
Yes, you've read a bit of the warp core.
My apologies. Will you repeat that?
Yes, sir. I was caught off guard by the music. We have a bit of problem with our warp drive, and engineering is currently working on fixing the intermixing problem.
There is a problem with the intermix ratio of the warp core?
According to the chief engineer.
I may be able to lend a hand at that. While I was still a lieutenant, I served at, excuse me, the Eridani Alpha shipyards above Vulcan, doing repairs on Starfleet ships that came in. I may be able to lend some expertise, but as this is a brand new ship, I cannot say I have worked with these systems before.
Now, you're welcome to lend a hand. I will warn you a little bit about Commander Kane. She does have a bit of an ego, but he is a good
Okay.
engineer.
He is a human, if I recall
Yes.
correctly. I will keep that in mind as I familiarize myself with the crew. Do you have any questions for me, Commander? I apologize. Captain, you were recently promoted.
Yes. So, while this is not my first time serving aboard a starship, obviously, being captain of a ship for, well, an indefinite amount of time could be new to me. But I look forward to leaning on your guidance for any help. Am I right?
I have been a successful executive officer to 2 ship captains before you. I hope that my experience and expertise will equally serve you.
Lofender, have you thought about becoming a captain yourself one day?
possibility had occurred to me, but I find myself serving better as a functionary role. The management of an entire ship and crew can be a daunting task for a captain alone. It is the role of first officer to manage these. It is a task I find enjoyable. Maybe one day, when I get into my later years, I may try and take the center chair, but for now, I seem to find myself quite pleased with my current situation.
Test, test.
I know what you mean.
We hear you. Tell me, Captain Kier, do you have any other insights on the rest of your senior officers that might benefit me before I meet them?
Our her chief science officer, and Terrell, she's a little bit new. Many of the senior officers came aboard with me through the Artemis. She's a bit new, but she is more than capable. I've already briefed you a little bit on Commander Kane. Commander... I was going to say Ardon. How your last name?
He goes by Rex, even if his last name is Ardon. So just call him Rex.
Lieutenant Commander Ardon, which everyone calls him Rex. He is a former staff intelligence officer like myself. He is the chief of security on Boulder. He is quite dedicated to his posting, so I think you'll find that a little bit refreshing amongst some of the other members of the crew. And Dr. Valen is very dedicated to his craft.
A Brill, if I remember the file correctly. It did not say, was he joined or unjoined?
I believe he's unjoined.
Ah. And if I may ask a personal question, Captain. I'm afraid my studies during my time on Vulcan did not include the Betazoid language. How do you pronounce your first name?
Relia.
Relia. Relia Kier. Thank you, Captain. I will retain this for the future. Do you have any other questions for me?
Not this time. I'm sure we'll get to know each other. And leave here is your quarters. Currently, we are on standby mode. So please take the time to refresh yourself with the ship and its crew.
I will do that, Captain. And thank you.
Hi, excuse me. I have some staff meetings to get to.
Very well. Thank you for escorting me to my quarters, Captain. I will see you on the bridge, I assume.
I do have to depart the station for a little bit, but you'll know how to get in touch with me.
Of course. Peace and long life.
He nods and tries to do the Vulcan salute. And feels horribly
I'll
at it.
return the gesture. And then let the doors close.
Right. We'll head back to the bridge briefly. Commander, we're receiving a couple messages. One's addressed to you, sir, and one for the doctor.
Understood. Rewrite the message to reroute English. Reroute the message to the doctor to sickbay. I'll take mine in my quarters. As a Tyrell, you have the con. Feel free to sit in the chair if you want to.
Thank you, sir, but I think I will stand. Meaning no disrespect to the captain, but I am still only an ensign.
I understand, Ensign. I'll be back soon.
Yes, sir.
Ardon heads off to his quarters.
All right. I don't think we have quarters built yet, so we'll stay with Rix for the moment. At a reload forge, so to get back into things I were. All right, Rix, you head to your quarters, and it is just a text-based message.
He puts it up on the screen in his quarters.
Right, I'm debating if I want to send this to you or if I want to just say it.
Send it to him and I can explain his reaction.
Okay. If I could type today. Come on, fingers work.
Actually, no, read it out. I think that's better. Read it out.
Okay, so you start to look at your computer console, and you notice that you have received a message to meet, but it is in a very familiar intelligence style message. You know, like kind of like an encoded message.
Yeah,
That you
I get it.
recognize.
When and where?
At the space dock overlooking, at the space station overlooking Mars.
And when?
Does not
As soon as-
say when. There's no when.
Okay. Which means as soon as possible. Lieutenant Rix to Ensign Tyrell.
Ensign here, yes, Lieutenant.
Change of plans, Ensign. I'm heading to the Utopia Planitia station for an errand. You'll have to hold down the fort for a little bit longer.
Yes, Lieutenant, will do.
Very good. And Rix immediately heads towards the transporter room to get beamed to said station.
Okay. Very quickly, we'll head to sick. Doctor, your message has just been rerouted as well.
All right. Is it also a text message?
Yeah. That's what we've been kind of texting about.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I will look at the message, accept the invitation. Is there a time and location for this?
This is on one of the colonies on Mars, and the time is 1900 hours.
What time is it currently on the ship? Or on
We'll
station?
say it's maybe 1300.
Okay, so I got time. All right. I will wander over, holding the message on the pad. Walk up to Kial. Is Kial a nurse or another doctor? I haven't actually figured that out yet.
I would imagine a doctor. She has surgery, and is
Well,
rank lieutenant.
so does Giggle.
He's a surgeon, so, but also enlisted personnel.
Could nurse maybe? I don't know. It's probably a second shift doctor, I would say. And then Giggle's probably a nurse.
Oh, anyways, I will walk up to Kial, say, well, it looks like I've been invited to a symposium down on Mars. It's this afternoon. You'll be holding down the fort while I'm gone. And if you need anything, you know how to read me, or how to reach me. I'll be in my office for the next little bit, putting together my relevant information and studies.
Understood, doctor.
Medical ethics. In response to what?
All right, cool. So we'll head back to main engineering. Kane, you probably make your way back to engineering, and you do see Raul Dever here. I don't know why the token's not showing the name.
I'm just gonna call him 2, I guess. Dose. But you said Raul Dever?
Yeah, let me see if I could fix this here. Maybe Devar, Raul Devar.
Raul Devar. Okay. So yeah, he'll enter engineering. Ah, look who it is. You back to fix your mess ups already?
It would appear that you couldn't get the intermix right, huh?
Well, one could say that. One could also say that the person in charge stormed out and they did not get the intermix right. I prefer my way of looking at it.
The person in charge, as he points at you. I believe it was you who said you could handle it better than my team could.
I'm sorry, what's your title?
The chief engineer of Utopia Planitia.
And did you have an uncle in the Admiralty or something? Or forgive me, I'm just trying to understand how the chief engineer of Utopia Planitia could storm off the engineering department of a ship that has just recently been cleared to launch without finishing what he was supposed to do.
Ah, I see what this is. You don't want to take any of the blame for your mistakes. Do I have you pegged, Commander?
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure you're going to be okay with, I'm assuming, again, relatives in Admiralty, or did your father get you this job? I'm just trying to understand how the chief engineer of Utopia Planitia can set a ship off without getting the intermix correct.
And I'm trying to think of how a chief engineer could be that incompetent.
Well, tell you what. How about you do your job, finish doing your job here in my engineering department, and well, maybe we sync up sometime a little bit later, and I kind of walk you through maybe some of the pointers I have after being out in space and working on ships and not having the ability to rely on a dock with all of the equipment and all of the expertise under me. Maybe we can trade some ideas.
Or maybe you could get out of my engineering and let me fix your mistake.
I feel like we're forming a bond here. I feel like we're coming to terms here.
Well, there's the door. Don't let it kick you on the way out.
He'll look around. Gardner, I want you to keep an eye on this guy. Make sure he does his job up to, and he'll look back at Devar, the finest Starfleet standards that we expect on this ship.
Keep an eye, sir?
I want you to report to me everything that Mr. Devar does while he's in my engineering department. I want a full report after he leaves.
Commander, I don't believe it's my place to...
Gardner, we're helping Mr. Devar here do his job to make sure that there are no further mistakes. We're just helping, aren't we? Thank you, Gardner.
Yes.
I'll take the report very soon after Mr. Devar leaves. Well, Mr. Devar, the engineering department is temporarily yours. And Kane will turn around and storm out.
Tavar will start heading to the warp core. Finally! I thought he'd never leave. I don't know how you guys deal with that arrogant son of a... Let's just fix this ship. All right, Kane, where are you heading during all of this?
Where would Kane head? Do we have an arboretum on board or no?
Probably not at this point.
Okay. Is there some other like botany, something with plants? I'm assuming we probably have like.
There's There's 2 holodecks.
All right, I'll go to a holodeck.
I mean, remember, you guys are barely out of. You're not even out of spacedock yet.
That is fair.
The doctor
Okay.
has not had a chance to set up a hydroponics lab or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Kane will go to the holodeck.
Okay. Let's see here. I think I might reuse some Navajo stuff. If nothing else, then to just make it seem like we're in a different place. Captain, I believe you were okay. Captain, what were you doing before I do anything else?
Probably getting scolded by the Admiral.
Would you like that scene? Or
Not
do you
really,
want
but
after
we
the or do you want after that scene?
No, we can do that first.
Oh dear. Was not expecting all of that in there. 1 second while I try to find a unused conference room. I guess we'll just call this one on the stage. If I could find my token. All right, Captain, you walk in to what the Admiral is using as a makeshift office.
Captain Kier, the Taurin has ordered.
Yes, Captain, please have a seat.
She takes a seat.
What's the report, Captain? On your shakedown cruise.
Simulated combat worked as well as expected. The impulse engines matched all theoretical limits during our that'll run through the asteroid belt. And during the warp tests, on testing the theoretical maximum, the warp inner matrix became unstable. So we returned to spacedock to reanalyze and retune the warp core.
Yes, I see our engineering crews have gone back there. Any initial reports on the cause?
A misalignment and calibration of the inner chamber matrix from what I've been told.
What's your assessment of the situation, Captain?
You need to be more specific, sir.
To be blunt, Captain, it would seem that your engineering crew is blaming the station's engineering crew of the mistake, and mine is blaming yours.
Yes, I read that report myself.
In short, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this to see who I am going to reprimand.
I don't believe that to be necessary, sir. Clearly, this unwise go on the individual who allowed this to happen, but that individual has been since ordered to work and comply with the Tobliat Panisha Station's crew. If there is to be any reprimands, I will issue them myself, sir.
Very well, Captain. I will let this be an internal matter aboard your ship. I will wait for the
Thank you, sir.
official reports to come in before deciding any further course of action.
Is there anything else, sir?
You are dismissed, Captain.
Thank you, sir. And she stands, takes a deep breath, and leaves.
All right, Captain. As you're strolling back, oh wait, okay. We will go back to the Akatsuki, where the commander enters onto the bridge for the first time. The EXO, I should say.
Ah, crap, I was muted. So anyways, as I come in, I'll like walk around, just look at the different consoles, take in the layout, stare over the shoulder of the helmsman, and then take the first officer's seat. And as Carl walks away, I'll look up and say, "Ensign, where are you going?"
Back to the science station.
You had the con, did you not?
Yes, sir, I did. But you'll have
Were you
more.
relieved?
No, sir. But you came in and you are of higher position.
I understand that, Ensign. Were you relieved?
No, sir.
Then please resume.
Yes, sir.
Pull out a pad and start typing out information into the little first officer's thing on the chair. And then stand up, walk back over to the tactical console, check a few things. Are you standing in front of the chair or sitting in it?
Standing.
Standing. Ensign, it is all right if you sit in the chair while you have command of the bridge.
Sir, due to all the respect that I have of my captain, I'd rather remain standing.
Very well. Ensign, I relieve you. You may return to your science station.
Thank you, sir.
Ensign, what's the current ship status? And I'll look over my shoulder back at Ensign
repairs.
Terrell.
Sir, we are currently docked at U- Utopia Planarisha to fix the engines.
Thank you, Ensign.
You're welcome.
And I will sit in the first officer's chair. And go back to my paperwork. End scene.
All right, we will head to one of these star bases overlooking Mars. Commander Rix, you go to the coordinates mentioned in your cryptic, and I'll let you take the scene away.
So Rix walks in, studies the room, and then immediately sees a person he more than recognizes and also presumes to be the sender of the message. And so he calmly walks over. Actually, he goes to the bar first, gets a drink. What would Rix drink? Let's just do some Bolian tonic water, just because that's the only Bolian thing I know. He grabs that from the bartender and then heads to sit on the chair opposite this person.
I see you have received my message.
I did. Frankly, I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting you to take to General Starfleet service, but here we are.
Indeed, it's well, let's just say I'm not quite there yet, but somewhat getting used to it. Why the message?
And without saying a word, he just slides a pad across the table to you, and I'll send you that info now.
Mm-hmm.
God, I don't like how Discord copy and paste things. It looks so pretty in my notes.
Okay, give me a little bit of time to read through this.
And as you're reading it, your host is just drinking a drink.
There are several emotes on Rix's face as he reads through this.
And as he notices those, the guy speaks up. I thought you might find these interesting.
Is there a particular reason why you're showing me this other than the obvious?
There's a lot we don't know about the Breen activity. I was hoping that you might be Starfleet Intelligence's eyes and ears in the sector.
Gladly. How close to the border are they? Of Bajoran space.
So far, they have not gone past the Rolar Nebula. But the Bajorans do have interest in the Rolar sector, and they're getting nervous.
Will Captain Keir be briefed about this as well?
As far as I'm concerned, this is the information Starfleet Intelligence briefed the Chief of Security on the USS Akatsuki. What you do with that information?
I understand. So for now, monitor and gather as much passive information as possible.
And of course, if you find any information that you deem to be Intelligence's ears only, send that off to us.
Is Intelligence going to how do I word this? Is Intelligence going to make attempts on fleet ops to send the Akatsuki closer to the this area?
As I understand it, your standing orders are to operate in the Rolar sector.
Understood. You don't know if well, the Breen I know is part of any of this. You haven't found out their identity yet?
As it stands, there's so much that we don't know.
What's the rundown of this capital class? What's their tactical assessment?
As you know, a single Breen scout ship is a formidable opponent for even the best of Starfleet vessels. The fact that they brought one of their capital ships out means that they mean business in whatever operations they are conducting. The Breen are dedicating a lot of resources to this mission, whatever it is.
What about these other ships? Are they scouts or cruiser level?
So far, what we've seen are scout ships.
Is a incursion mission being planned?
All I will say now, Commander, is don't get too comfortable aboard that starship. I may have need of your special skill set.
Well, to be honest, I never thought this day would come, but I'm. I think I'm glad. I'll be standing by and gather as much intel as I can while on the Akatsuki.
Very good. And of course, you know how to get that information to us.
Obviously.
Good.
Any-
And I take it you understand the assignment.
Yes, sir. Completely.
And he'll just go ahead and take a sip of his drink again.
Commander, there hasn't been any more news on the other front with the other chevrons.
Nothing as of yet.
Thank you, Commander. I'll be taking my leave.
And congratulations on your new assignment.
Thank you. Well, I guess we'll see how long it lasts. Keep in touch. And he chugs down his tonic water, then leaves.
All right, Rix. As you are leaving, you're walking through the station. Down one of the corridors, when you notice Captain Kier enter into one of the shops and establishments on the start.
Just gonna observe and see what she's doing at the moment.
All right. So you're sitting outside, and the sign on the door says the Purring Nebula.
Do I know this establishment from before?
You do not.
Okay. He'll admit he's curious and get a closer look.
All right, so you're peeking through some of the windows, and I'll let the captain explain what the captain is doing.
A waitress comes by, sets down what appears to be a hot drink of some kind, and then cat jumps up and she starts paying a cat and takes a sip of the drink.
And Rix, you notice that there are a multitude of animals in the system. From you notice animals like Vulcan's Celets, Andorian ice hounds, small tribble-like creatures, just everywhere at every table. Everyone in there seems to be petting some type of cute, cuddly creature.
And he'll remain and keep observing for a little bit more.
As she continues to, like, pet the different animals, smiles. You can see her laughing a little bit. Seems to be enjoying her time.
And Rix just smiles a little bit and then leaves, leaving the captain to her private space.
All right. Anything else you wish to do, Captain?
So you guys gotta enjoy your time at the pet cafe. Probably not keeping track of time.
All right. We're gonna head back to the ship really quick. As one Holden Kane steps out to overlook this valley.
Kane will walk up to the ledge. Just overlook the incredible beauty of his surroundings. He'll close his eyes. He'll breathe in what I'm assuming is a mix of fresh water smell coming off of this river, lake, whatever it appears to be. Slight crisp coolness of his surroundings. He'll open his eyes. And he'll just smile. Just say, as much as anyone continues to test me, I know how good I am at my job and what I set out to do.
As you finish saying that, Kane, a voice behind you says, as you finish saying that to yourself, a voice behind you says, "Are you really that good, Starfleet officer?"
Kane will turn around. He'll look a bit flabbergasted. I don't remember telling the computer to model you in the simulation.
Simulation, you say? Do you not recognize your master? You are truly lost, Starfleet officer, as he kind of shakes his head.
Kane's eyes will go wide. Is it really you?
And he'll just walk up to the edge. If you cannot recognize your own master, then I fear that all is lost.
Kane will reach out and just gently tap his shoulder to make sure he's real.
He seems real enough to you.
Computer, cancel character Monk from holodeck program.
I'm afraid it won't be that easy to get rid of me, Starfleet officer.
Just making sure you're real.
I sense turmoil in you, Starfleet officer. What troubles you?
Well, what's immediately troubling me, Monk, is apparently there are engineering leaders on Utopia Planitia who can't do their jobs effectively.
You don't truly believe that, do you?
Well, let me just put it this way. Although Gardner has so much to learn from me, I feel that he could do the job much, much better at this point, having just worked with me for the short time that he has.
And this Gardner, you fear him and his skill.
Gardner? He's my best friend. No one on the ship understands me nearly as well as Gardner does. Kane will just look at him. All right, Monk. We'll turn. I was thinking about what you said on the mountaintop. And yes, sometimes I don't feel as good as I know I am. As good as everyone expects me to be.
Is it other people's expectations or your own, Starfleet officer?
Is there truly a difference, Monk?
What do you think?
I think that those in engineering are, well, they need somebody to look up to. And they look up to me. They consider me a bit of a father in engineering, and I don't want to let them down. So even if they are inferior to me. I do still find it important to make sure that I live up to their high expectations. I do this for them.
You could have fooled me, Starfleet officer. I don't believe you do this for anyone but yourself.
You've been alone on that mountain a long time, haven't you? I feel like your people skills have started to slacken a bit.
That, or I have truly struck a nerve. But I will let you figure out which one that is. I am, of course, a very busy individual. I have more tea to brew.
Well, don't get too stoned, good monk.
I will leave you to your falsehoods and your delusions. And he literally disappears in front of you. And I do not mean in the holodeck characters going away. He literally disappeared.
Just pop out of existence.
Yes.
Okay. Kane will look around. Think that, is he seeing things? And then very quickly shake that off. Say no, couldn't be that. He'll look out with like a look of pride on his face, almost, out over the water. And then that face will start to fall a bit. And then fall to a pretty neutral expression with, maybe like a bit of worry in his eyes.
All right. I will reuse the 10 forward from the Navajo yet again. This time, I believe it is going to be the doctor who is going to join in at the Medical Ethics Symposium. Is Doctor there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, muted again. I guess I'm going to walk in. There are a couple of casual greetings to any faces I get close to. Well, any people I get close to as I find a seat.
And as you find a seat, a few moments later, a Bajoran doctor comes up to you. Says, Dr. Velen, is it?
Correct. And you are?
Dr. Rinnie. It's a pleasure to meet you, Doctor. May I?
Pleasure. Of course, please.
So glad you could join us in this symposium, Doctor.
Well, ship I'm stationed on is currently in dry dock for repairs, so I had the time, and I received an invitation, so I came.
I actually wanted to get your opinion about something, Doctor.
Go right ahead, please.
Back on Bajor, I have been tasked with taking stock of the outdated medical supplies left over from the occupation of the Cardassians of Bajor. And I wanted to get your opinion about something.
All right.
As I'm going through these medical supplies, I notice that there have been several experimental treatments developed from the Cardassians during their time in the occupation. Rather unethical treatments. From best I could tell, they originated from being conducted on Bajoran prisoners in the Cardassian labor camps.
I'm assuming the information gathered from them is valuable in some way, though.
Hence my dilemma, Doctor.
Is it
These are-
ethical to use information gathered from unethical means?
Some of these treatments from my research could be refined and adapted to save many lives on Bajor. Of course, knowing where these treatments come from, let's just say it's not an easy decision.
Well, while one might not condone the acts performed to gather this information, not using it to save lives would mean that, well, people that were experimented on were simply tortured to death. I can't say that those people that were experimented on would feel any kind of gratitude that their deaths would save people, but at the same time, it is an opportunity.
There is, however, growing resentment within our provisional government. They wish to push out all Cardassian influence on the Bajoran culture. I fear that even if I were to decide to use these treatment options, they may soon become outlawed by our government.
Well, unfortunately, now we're getting into the realm of legality, a little outside of my specialities, as it were. I would say,
Uh-
if you can, make use of them while you can. And if they tell you to stop, stop. But that's just my opinion on the subject. I'm sure this entire symposium will cast an entirely different light, or maybe they'll agree with me. I don't know.
That is, after all, why I decided to join this symposium,
It
to
is
give
why
some
we are here.
clarity and insight on this matter. But is that what you would do, Doctor? Would you use these treatments, despite everything you know about it?
Save lives?
When you put it that way. Well, thank you, Doctor. Our conversation has been most helpful.
I'm glad. I'll leave you with one thought. During my time at Starfleet Medical Academy, there was a very particular phrase that I heard. It was swords to plowshares. Might be something to think about.
Don't think I am familiar with that phrase.
Oh, how does the entire thing go? I don't remember the entirety of the phrase, but it was about taking weapons of war and turning them into farm tools with which to help grow the land. Terrible things turned to peace.
I think I understand what you're getting at. And she'll stand up. Thank you, Doctor. Your insights have been most valuable.
And good day to you, Dr. Morani.
And the doctor will head off, talking to other doctors. More than likely, getting further insights and advice.
I'm gonna pull out my personal pad and write the good doctor's name down to look into their specialities later on.
Right. Are there any other scenes anybody would like to do?
Not right now.
Nothing for me.
Right, we'll go back to engineering. Kane, probably after your unsettling experience in the holodeck, you probably come back into the engineering. Gardner, how's the readings look?
They're getting back to normal, sir. The intermix seems pretty much stable at the moment. I think we're getting there.
See, Gardner, what did I tell you? You keep your eyes open, trained on the gauges, you could fix anything.
Thank you, sir.
Kane will walk down the hall, walk up to Devar. So is everything in order?
Just about to bring the warp drive back online now.
Understood. Kane will look to Gardner. Did everything look good, Gardner?
Yes, sir. We've gotten out of the way. I think we're ready to turn the drive back on.
Good. It will be nice to have the ship in order and ready to go. Kane will turn back to Devar and extend his hand.
He'll just look at it. Ah, yes! Earth Customs. Now, if you are ready to hear my expertise, Commander, these new warp engines can be a bit finicky if you don't pay attention all the time.
Did he take Kane's hand?
Yeah, very.
Okay. Kane will just lean forward and just say, "It's okay. I forgive you. Thank you for getting everything in order." He'll lean back. And so, what would you have me pay attention to first?
You have to watch the intermix ratios. If they're off by so much as a micron, they could end up damaging the warp coils.
Mm-hmm.
You almost blew the engine to bits.
Yes, that mistake, whoever's mistake it was, would have done some damage to the engines. You're exactly correct. And Kane will just say, okay, and so in this situation, if this component was out of calibration or something, how would you correct that? What would you do?
He'll just turn to Gardner. He's the chief engineer.
I'm just trying to learn what I can, Devar. While you're still on my ship, I figure it would be good to, well, learn what I can to make myself even better. I am all ears.
You know, Commander, Petty Officer Gardner has quite a bit of expertise in this area.
Of course. I've been teaching Gardner the entire time that I've been in charge of engineering here. He is easily my finest pupil.
You could have fooled me, Commander. If I didn't know anything any better, I'd say he knows more than you do.
Well, just know that you were complimenting my work by complimenting Gardner's work. Kane will turn, not recognizing the Vulcan who just walked into his engineering department.
Has been in the engineering department.
Standing there.
Up on the second level.
Ah, gotcha. I don't believe we've met.
Indeed not. A moment. And I'll take the service elevator down. Walk over. You are Lieutenant Commander Holden Kane, correct?
That is correct. And I don't believe we've had the pleasure before.
Commander Mahawk, new first officer of the USS Akatsuki.
Ah. Well, Commander Mohawk, welcome aboard.
Thank you. I was observing the repair efforts in the ship's engineering bay.
I'm glad you were while I was gone. It would be good to keep an eye on this one. He'll look to Devar. Although I do admit there's probably some things that we can learn from him.
I found no problems in Commander Devar's work.
Good. Well, hopefully we won't have the same mistake we had just a little while ago. But sir, as part of your welcome on board this ship, I would be happy to show you around my engineering department. I'm sure we'll be working together very closely in the near future.
I appreciate the offer. It is not needed.
Well, anytime. You just let me know. So Kane will turn. Are you almost finished, Devar?
Oh, I was just making sure you were done boasting about yourself.
Oh, I'm not sure that I would ever quite be done with that, but maybe you're tired of it.
But my work here is done. Just remember, always check the matter-antimatter injectors. If not, you are going to have a bad day.
Noted. We'll be sure to stay on top of it.
Well then, Commander Kane, I will give you back your engineering bay better than the way you gave it to me. Don't come back! As he storms off in his Tellarite way.
Mahawk
Kane
will
will
just
turn to-
watch him leave, comment over to the Lieutenant Commander. I must say, one of the more pleasant Tellarites I have ever encountered.
Yeah, I think he likes me.
No, I do not believe he does. And then I'll walk over to this far console here.
Kane will just shrug. I just thought that was a Tellarite thing. That's how they were affectionate. He'll turn to Gardner and get ready to say something. And then he'll turn to Decca and say, Decca, can you check the matter-antimatter calibration on the warp core?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Kane will head back to console and start keying in, various codes, and then start getting things revved up and ready to go.
All right. There are any other scenes that anyone would like to do?
I'm good.
Good here.
Not that I can think of.
All right. Back on the station here, the captain, having spent an ungodly amount of time, is still enjoying the pet cafe. And I think with that, we'll call that the end of Faultlies.